And good morning, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Brother Lewis, and for those of you who don't know, I've been making videos concerning corruption within leadership positions. If this is your first time to the channel, then feel free to click on my username, go to our channel page, click on videos, scroll down to number 68. That will tell you everything that you need to know about the channel and what our purpose is for being here. For those of you who are not new, and this is you just coming back to see what else is new, welcome back. And we hope that you're enjoying your morning, this beautiful day that the Lord has given unto us. Once again, um, we had last night uh, a trial run, and I'm going to just go over briefly the events of last night with a couple of details and some announcements, if you will. So just bear with me. Um, but I wrote some things down so that I would easily be able to remember and I wouldn't forget anything. So I'm just going to read what I'd written. This is the trial run recap, as well as what is to follow, what's next. Preparing for the organization-wide meeting was the reason why we had the trial run last night, because of the meeting that's upcoming on next Tuesday, October 7th at 5 o'clock p.m. Um, Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who joined us last night for our trial run for the meeting. We deeply appreciate your time, your patience, and your commitment as we work to bring clarity, transparency as always, and truth forward to the light in our effort in this cause. Last night was not an official meeting. It was a trial run. And we're thankful for your participation as we prepare for our upcoming official organization-wide meeting that is scheduled for this coming Tuesday, next Tuesday, October 7th at 5 o'clock p.m. um, Again, we had a suggestion that was made because we know that individuals want to, and some individuals need to be in council on Monday, October the 6th. So out of consideration for those individuals, we did change the meeting for October the 7th, that Tuesday. And instead of 1 o'clock, we went on and changed it to 5 o'clock to allow for those who are on their way in transition coming from work or school to try to be there. Um, let's actually take a moment to walk you guys through what happened last night, what we discussed, and what's going to be coming up. So, why do we do trial runs? Okay. As many of you experienced, we had a late start last night for those of you that were on. There were some technical issues with the initial streaming platform. These were not on our end, the issues, but rather problems within the system itself. And we were trying to work out those glitches. We didn't hesitate. And as soon as we saw the issues, we immediately moved to our backup streaming platform, where everything ran smoothly from that point forward. Now, for those of you who know that the initial platform was YouTube, um, it was not a complication from YouTube as the platform itself. It was, we think, the fact that I had not um, beforehand set up the platform so that we could actually use it. So for those of you who don't know, this was my first time attempting to use the live platform. So I needed to navigate through the platform and its usage. So again, I want to be clear that this was not the platform itself that was presenting problems for us. It was me also trying to navigate how to actually use the platform. So at any rate, again, this is the purpose of the trial runs. Um, And let me say this. This is exactly, again, why we do trial runs. These sessions, they help us identify issues and correct the problems and make sure that by the time the official meeting does actually arrive, everything is working and running smoothly. So I realized this morning there were some text messages and there were some emails, as well as a couple of people reaching out to let me know that there's some that tried to get in last night's meeting, but they couldn't get in. Here's why it matters knowing that there's some of you that could not get in. First of all, let me acknowledge the fact that, we've received these reports and they were unable to access the stream. So some people were trying to get on one platform, others were trying to get on another. We know that people were calling one another to figure out what's going on. Again, this is the purpose of the trial run, so that we can kind of figure this stuff out together. So for those of you who did run into some issues, I'm glad and grateful that you reached out to let us know so that we can make sure going forward that you're not going to have any issues, right? If you're one of those individuals that had those issues, just understand that you're not alone. And there's other people that did try to get on and ran into some similar issues, if not the same issues. Again, this is why we run these trial sessions in the first place, to give us the chance to fix these problems before the actual meeting. If you missed last night's meeting, here's what we encourage you to do. Let me make sure I forgot. Okay. Here's what we encourage you to do. Take the time to write down your questions so you don't forget them. Be sure to join us for our next trial run. This coming Thursday night at 8 p.m., we have an unscheduled bonus trial run, if you will, where I'm going to be trying to figure out whatever it is that I need to figure out. And we will have another scheduled trial run on Friday night at 8 p.m. So for tomorrow night, today is Wednesday, for tomorrow night, I'm going to have one you'll see it up there, but I'm not pushing for anyone to be on the trial run. I'm not encouraging anybody to attend. For those of you who want to join in, again, it will be a live session. You can come on and ask your questions there. Anybody that comes on, we will entertain those questions and we will have the discussions that you guys would like to have. Other than that, we'll have another scheduled trial run for Friday. Now, we want your voices to be heard, and these sessions are designed to give you that space. So even though there seems to be a few technical issues right now, I want you guys to understand what was covered last night. For those who were able to attend, again, I want to say thank you. The meeting was actually incredible. Quite a few people did compliment the meeting last night. We had honest dialogue. People asked real questions, and we took our time to address each and every single concern. Here's the main topics that we discussed. Why doesn't the organization do charitable work like other organizations? This was one of the top questions from the group. We talked about how the House of Prayer was not set up to serve others individually or organizations. Even though it's under a nonprofit, it was not set up for that purpose. And how it was never functioned, the House of Prayer never functioned like a charitable organization. Again, what we've discovered is that the whole thing was from the beginning a lie. It was all a lie. And we now know that, which is why we're backing up everything with evidence to support these claims. And again, for anybody that does not believe this, well, then just ask any of the pastors, ask the councilman, and try to get through to Mr. Cunningham. There's an address posted in every House of Prayer. You may write to the bishop, 1665 North Portal Drive, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20012. Write a letter. You can call there, 200-896, I think, 5236 off the top of my head. I haven't used that number now in a few years, but I believe that that is the number. If not, you can look on the website, 882-3956, 882-3956, 202 area code. But we talked about the fact that the House of Prayer was never set up to serve others as a charitable organization. The ones who set it up and the individuals with him, they knew what they were doing. The problem is the members took it seriously. They fell for the tricks and they believed the rhetoric. So the organization blew up as a church, and it got bigger and bigger. And people contributed and people began doing the things that they were told. So it really did blow up to become this massive organization that people had no idea that there's a handful of people at the top that's doing all kinds of things that they don't know anything about, right? And it lasted even up until this day. So instead, it's been an organization that takes from people, collecting money, offerings, tithes, G-Class, love offerings. The organization, as we know it, the people, the members running it, they take from people, but they do nothing to give back. They give nothing to the members. They give nothing to the communities. There's absolutely nothing set up for anybody to receive any type of assistance from the organization. The House of Prayer has set up certain things to make it look like they're doing things to benefit people. But the fact of the matter is they're not. And if an investigation actually, goes underway to investigate these claims, what they're going to find is every single one of these claims are accurately true. The leaders know this, and that's why there's a strong effort to hide what's happening behind closed doors. And this is also why Mr. Cunningham and the council, they're not saying a word about any of the things that we're talking about. Instead, he's just getting up whenever he has the opportunity, and he's supposed to be feeding the souls of the people. He's taking these opportunities to play defense against things that it is that's coming out on these videos, which is why you've heard him consistently tell the organization, stay off YouTube, because he does not want you to hear the truth of these things that's been taking place. With that in mind, unfortunately, councilmen, pastors, and chairmen, whether fully aware or not, they are the ones being used by Mr. Cunningham, by Mrs. Madison, to push the people to give money while having no real understanding of how the money is being used. And this is why people ask the question, because they don't know where the money is going. They don't know what the money is going towards. The lie, the big lie over all these years has been tithes goes towards the building of the organization. G-Class goes towards the building of the organization. And this is the first thing you're going to hear when people talk about the subject. Problem is you don't see anything being built. And the houses of prayers that have been built, you don't see them being maintained. So, secondly, the second question that was most common is why don't members know where the money's going? We discussed in detail how the organization is registered as a 501c3 nonprofit, which should mean it follows rules for transparency and accountability. But you all know as well as I do that the House of Prayer does not hold the leaders accountable as an organization. And whenever I talk about the House of Prayer, I'm not talking about the buildings. I'm not talking about the belief system, which has many flaws because of the false doctrines that's been pushed by the leaders. When I talk about the House of Prayer, I'm only talking about the name of the organization, where the leaders did all kinds of stuff using the name. So the leaders have made the name a name that has all kinds of negative connotations and attachments to it in the eyes of the public now. But the House of Prayer as an organization in itself has done nothing wrong to anyone, but it's not done anything good for anyone either. So the organization is like a plastic bottle. The bottle that has the label of whatever the drink is inside of it, the bottle is not the drink. The drink in itself, whatever liquid is inside that bottle, that is the product, right? And that product can either do you good, it can do you bad, or it can do nothing for you. And that's the organization. The organization itself is not the shell, it's not the building, it's not the name, it's the product inside. And whatever the leaders have decided to do with it is, well, that's been the problem, because the leaders have not used the house of prayer to do any good. Everything that they've set up has been a mask, a charade, to make it appear that the organization is doing good, while they collect all these awards from all over the place, simply because the people that have backed up the organization believed in all this stuff that the leaders have been saying, including myself. But we didn't know. And because it's a 501c3, it's set up with rules for transparency and accountability. But again, we know that's not the case. The members of the House of Prayer are never told how much money is collected. Never, ever, ever. To say that, well, we hear the announcements on Sunday morning service, and every single service they're telling us what's collected, that's not what the 501c3 is saying. The 501c3 is saying, the regulations, the total amounts of money coming in for the entire organization, that knowledge should be known. Not how much you took up in your location on a Wednesday night house offering. They're not talking about that. They're not even interested in that. They're talking about how much you brought in collectively as a whole for the entire year. Where's that money going? Who decides where the money is going? How is the money being spent? How is it being invested? That's what the 501c3 regulations stipulate: accountability and transparency. You cannot have secrets, and they're holding you accountable to show how much came in, how much is going out, how much you still have. And this is the information that has never been reported to the members of the organization. And this is why this is such a big problem. This is why this is such a common question amongst the members. There's no report on where the money goes, and there is no oversight at all, no oversight from within the organization. Letting them know, no, you can't do that, you can't do this, you have to this, you have to that. We don't have those measures. And this too is a huge problem. We explain how this violates the spirit of nonprofit governance and why every member should be deeply concerned. The lack of financial transparency is not just unusual. It is not just wrong. It's unlawful. It is illegal. It is a problem. And if the members don't fix this problem, the members will not have a problem to fix, because other people are going to fix it for you. And then we will have no more organization. And I think that this is what it is that they're pushing for. So all the money that they've hidden and tucked away in offshore accounts, and like Mrs. Madison put in people's private accounts to hide here and there so nobody can trace it, nobody can track it, and got people linked to it. So just in case, all this money, this is what these crooks are doing. And I use the term crooks because that's exactly what they are. This is not judging anybody. A thief is a thief. And if you're a thief, don't get mad at me for calling you a thief. Stop stealing and I won't call you a thief. But this is where the people need to stand up and call a spade a spade. So Mr. Lewis, Mrs. Lewis, and anybody else who's been working with us and supporting us, we're not calling you saints. We're not calling you men of God, because Jesus said a tree is known by the fruit that it bears. I'm not going to look at a cherry tree and say it's a dandelion. I'm not going to look at a thorn bush and say that it's tulips. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and we all have to stand before God and give an account for the deeds done in this body. Well, the way the law works in the land, we're all supposed to be answering to those who make claims that we're breaking the law, and we're supposed to be also held accountable to the deeds done in this land while we have broken laws. So this is what we're trying to do to bring forward. The last question, I think, that was the most common. Other questions were asked, but these are the most common. What happens to tithes and G-Class offerings? We had a very honest conversation about the way funds are collected and kept secret. Tithes are given faithfully by the people all over. Now, many people have stopped giving tithes once I let them know that that belongs to the bishop. It's always been the bishops. And the council and the pastors, many of the councilmen know that. Some of the pastors don't know that. But the tithes belong to the bishop. G-Class goes into the accounts, where the house of prayer monies are held for holdings, but we don't know how that money is being invested, how long it's sitting, the decision making for disbursements, what it is that they're purchasing, until you hear about something, down the road. Oh, wait a minute, we purchased another apartment building, right? That's not how the members are supposed to find out. They're supposed to be involved in the decision-making process before these decisions are made. And the decisions are not supposed to be made by 1, 2, or 3 people. It's supposed to be made collectively by the body. G-Class offerings, they're demanded consistently. Yet the members are told nothing whatsoever about how the money is used. The leadership has made no attempt to be accountable with these finances, and we discussed how this is completely unacceptable, how it's completely unlawful, and it's illegal. It's something that should never have been done, and the members should have pounced on this in the first place. This is why we have what is called an oversight committee, to make sure that there's nothing going on wrong, to protect the organization against nonsense like this. And when the members protect that type of behavior and that type of activity, then you're complicit. You're going along with the program, and they love it because they know that without you supporting them, they can't be getting away with all this nonsense. And this is why Mr. Cunningham keep on using the word we. We. We know what we're doing in here. You don't, But he knows that the members listening to him, they're not going to hear what he's saying. They think we includes them. When you say our, the house of prayer has this, the house of prayer has that, the members, we got. But the members aren't staying in those mansions. The members not walking down that middle aisle with brown paper bags packed with money. The members are not in there to watch the stacks and piles of money on the floor while they're being separated. The members not stepping one foot in those Maybachs to be chauffeured around. Talking about we. The members know you've been lied to and manipulated. We means them. They are taking advantage of us, and all the members, to take every dime you give and walk right back out that door. And many of our members, again, this is to wake us up, need to finally see that they've been playing us for a fool this whole time. So we talked about that last night. Every member has the right to ask, and every member has the right to know what has been collected, where the money is, what is it being used for, and why are we not a part of the decision-making process? So, another question that was asked last night, very common from several others. Yeah, why this, why that, and other people who couldn't make it. Why haven't leaders been held accountable? This was the most common question and the most passionate of the night. We talked about how historically, even in Scripture, God held leaders to a higher standard, and he called the people to hold those leaders accountable whenever they went astray. If you look at the 13th chapter of Deuteronomy, you'll see where God even said, if there's a prophet that rises up and he prophesies until you do something and the sign come to pass, He said, you are not to obey that prophet because they told you to do something that goes against me. He said, but your hand's supposed to be the first one on them to kill them, take their lives. This is what they said. The scripture says, 13th chapter of Deuteronomy. Today is not supposed to be any different. The people are supposed to hold their leaders accountable to standing up for what's right and living a higher standard. The leaders are not supposed to be the lowest amongst us. The leaders are not supposed to be the dirtiest amongst us. The leaders are not supposed to be the biggest liars amongst us. The leaders are not supposed to be the most filthy, the most wicked amongst us. But this is exactly what we're looking at. And the members had better rise up to fix this problem because it has become too much of a problem. And now we're at a point where something's got to be done. He called the people to hold these leaders accountable when they went astray. In other churches and organizations, when corruption occurred, the people stepped in. They demanded change, and they took back the voice that was stripped from them. But in the house of prayer, the leadership has used intimidation. They've used fear and manipulation to keep the members divided and quiet. And for all these years, our members did not pick up on the fact that they've been practicing that age-old motto, divide and conquer. And if you can have one or two people in these different houses and locations, 137 all over the country, and those one or two people standing there cracking with a whip or with a pew-pew, right? Figuratively speaking, to intimidate and cause fear in the people. Well, now these congregations all over the place, they're too fearful to do anything. And this is how they've been operating, by having a man in every congregation, the big man, the pastor, to keep them people marching to the beat of the bishop's drum and giving their money the whole time, while the pastors bleed these members dry. And the councilmen, they have chairmen, and the chairman's job is to push the pastor or threaten to have them removed if you don't get that money. And the chairman's drive, their motivation, is to have the power and the influence that they have over a district or over a state. So they can sit in the chairs up front and cross their legs so that you can see their silk socks, whatever designer socks they have, and their pretty alligator shoes, right? And they want you to see the Italian brushed leather, the custom-made suits, the embroidery on their shirt cuffs, the different accessories. All of this is to award them for pushing the members to give all of their hard-earned dollars, while Mr. Leader sits back and fans himself with all this money. And again, the members are being treated like a joke. So the House of Prayer leadership, for years, the people have been afraid to speak up because of these tactics. But now people are realizing that not only are they not alone, but it's time to speak up. Not out of disrespect, but out of responsibility. So people last night were speaking up, and they got excited because they heard other people speaking up, and they heard the questions, and they got the answers. And now there's this momentum going forward that, okay, we can do something about this. This is not a lost cause. And that's what came out last night of the meeting. We stayed until every question was answered. Last night's trial run officially ended around 11 o'clock p.m. Some people had to quietly step away to rest before work or school, but many stayed to continue asking questions, and we made sure every single one was answered. This is why we are doing what we do, because for more than 100 years, the people have had no voice. And now that there's a platform, it would be wrong for us to silence anybody after you've gone through the problems that you've gone through here in the organization. So this is where your voice can be heard. This is where the suggestions will be accepted, and this is where the best suggestions will be implemented for the purposes and the benefits of the members of the organization. As we continue with trial runs and prepare for the official meeting, we want to respect your time. Okay, so here's what we're aiming for going forward. The trial runs may go long whenever questions keep coming, right? Because again, that's what it's there for, to iron out any wrinkles and to answer the questions that you're asking, since we have the opportunity to come together. But we are committed to staying engaged. Official meetings will be structured to last for 2 hours. So the first meeting on Tuesday, October 7th, we're looking to not go beyond 2 hours. In the event that it does go over 2 hours, we're looking to put a cap on it at 30 more minutes. So maximum time we're looking at for each of the official meetings is no more than 2.5 hours. Some meetings, some of them might be as short as 1 hour, as long as we're able to simply cover the information that we want to cover. And as long as there's no questions, then we can go ahead and close out. But if there are questions, then we're going to do our part to answer those questions, not only to the best of our ability, but to your satisfaction. We need to make sure that everyone understands what it is that we're going to be talking about. With all of that said, another topic that we covered last night is the size of the crowds at recent services and events. The crowd sizes are shrinking, and anybody can see it. While leadership may try to make it look like things are the same and people are still, no changes, well, we know otherwise. You can lie all you want, but we know that that's not the case. People are not traveling as much, and that is a fact. We don't have all those 20-some buses at these events. Some events had as few as 4 buses, or just 5 or 6 buses. Newport News, I think, has 6 buses when we were there. But you don't see all these buses. People are over it. They see through it. And one more thing about the bus, y'all, read through the lines. Stay off the buses. I'm not going to say that again. Stay off the buses. Mr. Cunningham want people to ride the buses, but for more than one reason. Now, put what God gave us to work. Put it to work. This is why he has a problem with what we're doing, because we're putting this to work and we're seeing right through him. Y'all want to stay off those buses. But anyway, for those who have been riding, we noticed that, of course, the number of buses have gone down. People are not showing up as early to get a seat. There was a time when people were coming 3, 4, 5 hours before the service because they knew it was going to be jam-packed. Now, people not coming that early. People are now showing up right before service starts because they know that seats will still be available, because many people are choosing to stay home. Many people not traveling anymore at House of Prayer events because they see what's going on. Thank you to us putting this information out and you all sharing with us what's going on locally at the events when we can't be there. The people are listening, and it has made a significant impact. We've seen it ourselves. The DC convention, convocation. Many weren't there on Friday night. Convocation Friday night in DC, the aisles were nearly empty. Nobody in the aisles. There was plenty of space left in the pews. You can go and still get a seat in the pews. The balconies were not full. The stairwells, nobody was standing. Y'all know how people stand in the stairwells because there's no seats and there's no space in the aisles? They stand in the stairwells so they can at least see. Nobody standing in the stairwells, hardly anybody in the aisles. The balconies weren't full at all. You can still find seats in the pews. This is Friday night in DC. Y'all know good and well, we are used to squeezing through the aisles. And you still, some people, squeeze through. Nobody in the aisles. And if you see some of the videos and the pictures, you'll see the walls. Nobody even standing on the walls anymore. I mean, just a few somewhere around the top in the front. But along those walls, you don't see people lining up and down the walls, standing on the side of the pews because there's no more seats anywhere. You don't see people telling, excuse me, can you move over? I can't see. Y'all don't see that. There's been a significant change. Even at the Mother House in Charlotte, we've seen services with empty pews in the back. Pews empty. The aisles clear. The walls not crowded at all. Hardly anybody on the walls. These signs tells us that change is not only coming, change is already happening. The people are aware, and the people are waking up because of your voices, because of y'all being courageous enough to stand up and speak out as well, to share your stories and your testimonies and your experiences and the knowledge that you have about the House of Prayer over the years under all of these different leaders. People seeing the changes. There's no new DVDs being sold. You don't see new DVDs. I've said it before. What new DVD do you have being recorded of the services this year? There's no DVD of Miami, Los Angeles, Dallas. There's no DVDs of the Midwest tour, the Southern tour, Memorial Day weekend. There's no DVDs of the first several stops of convocation. You don't see new publications being circulated. No Sunday school books, no calendars, no law books, no Are You Aware, no constitutions. I've even challenged you. Try to find a constitution. See if you can find one. It is as rare as a relic that belongs in a museum in a showcase. You will not find a 2024 Constitution of the United House of Prayer for All People nowhere. Mr. Cunningham has made sure of that. These new publications, they're not out. And if you want a Sunday school book, you got to go through the pastor. Anything else, you got to go through the pastor, or you have to announce to somebody so they can put your name down. Further intimidation tactics to try to instill fear in the people. Well, we need your name before we can give you a Sunday school book or a calendar. The changes are already here. People no longer being asked during service to buy anything while you're in service. People come by to sell the DVDs, the CDs, the keychains, the products, the T-shirts, any of the literature. Y'all don't see that no more. The title of Addie is no longer being used repeatedly from the pulpit. Addie this, Addie that, Addie, 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 Addie. You don't hear that no more. Leaders, pastors, and even a bishop are now mentioning God and Jesus more than ever before. More than ever before. You hear, we never heard about God and Jesus in the house of prayer all these years until now. Every time you get up, Jesus this, Jesus that, and God this and God that, and even he using the name Jehovah. You ain't never, ever, ever heard them refer to God and Jesus this way. And if this came to a stop, he'd revert and go right back to talking about he's God and he's Jesus. And so the people are just over it. They're done with the lying. They're done with the manipulation, the conniving. They're just over it. They want to make it appear that this has always been the way things are. But we know the truth. The house of prayer, again, we see it literally slowly being depleted. The membership not coming out, not being active, not participating, not contributing, not giving. People receiving phone calls and text messages from presidents and pastors of their clubs, presidents of their clubs and pastors. We still need to get your offering. We haven't seen you, but we need to get your offering. We need to get your pastor's offering. We need to get your love gift. We need to get your G-Class report. Not hello, how you doing? Not even goodbye. You been okay? What about sickness? Yeah, I've been sick for the long. Oh, well, we need your report. You haven't even said it while they cut you off. We need your report. And this is the one thing that they're doing. The council's pushing chairmans pushing district chairmans pushing pastors pushing elders, and the president of presidents. And the president of presidents is pushing the presidents And the presidents are pushing all the members, we got to get this money, got to get this money, got to get this money. And now the whole thing is about two things: money and the after parties after the House of Prayer services. There's only a handful of people that's there now because they really believe in what's going on in the House of Prayer. If it had not been for what we're doing, speaking up and calling things out, you all helping us with your testimonies, these changes would never have been happening. We want to keep moving forward. So for everybody listening right now, we want to encourage you. This is not just a moment, but this is a movement. The cause here is very, very significant, and it's too great for us to throw in the towel. This is a movement for truth. This is a movement for accountability. This is a movement to give the people a voice that finally they can actually use to point out problems and issues that keep on getting snuffed, covered up, or lied about when they say we're going to take care of it and nothing ever gets done. We're asking you to join us again. Once again, this Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. is an unscheduled trial run. But Friday at 8 p.m., we have another scheduled trial meeting. It's not mandatory, of course. It's all optional, but you will not regret showing up so that you can ask not only your questions, but get the information pertaining to anything else that you may not be aware of what's going on. Bring your questions, bring your thoughts, bring your truth to share with your knowledge and your experiences and your testimonies so that the other members will be able to hear. We're listening. And together we're making a difference, a huge difference throughout the entire organization. Thank you again for your time, your energy, and your unwavering stand for truth. We will see you soon. Again, tomorrow is unscheduled, a quick test, if you will. But if anybody shows up, we're going to stay there to answer those questions or talk about what you would like to talk about to understand more of what it is that's going on. Friday night, a scheduled trial run, and we will be hopefully ready to have the official meeting on Tuesday at 5 p.m. So write down those dates, write down those times, and be ready to join in so that we can fix the problems that's been going on and that's been weighing the backs of our members for decades. That said, that's all I have about last night's meeting. Now, it's 43 minutes. Let me, in fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to close this out. And we have a special guest with us today. So I'm going to close this out so it'll be 43 minutes long, 45 minutes, no more than. And then we're going to put up another video where we'll talk to our special guest. So at this time, I'll see you in the next video.